Good morning, grinders. Welcome to RotoGrinders Today. I'm Jordan Cooper, a.k.a. BlenderHD. You're going to follow me on Twitter. And it's Tuesday, February 4th, and we'll be taking a short look at tonight's NBA 7-game DFS slate on DraftKings tonight. So hit that thumbs up button on your way in the door. Give me those thummy thumbs. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell to know when we go live. I'm here by myself. It'll be a short show today. I primarily will use SimLabs when it comes to NBA contests today. But first, let's see. We got some questionable players. We got Miles Turner, Alperen Sengun, Joel Embiid. Is he ever going to play a game? We don't know. Maybe it's tonight. Everyone else, maybe not as important. But obviously, it's the NBA. I just want to highlight here, NBA-wise, that anything that I say here at 11 o'clock in the morning, subject to change, card subject to change. That's what they say at wrestling events, right? Card subject to change. So we may find out 2 hours from now. Some other guy's out, this guy's in. Who knows? Who knows? But as of right now, the Q tags that we should be looking out for are Turner, Sengun, and Embiid. And we even here at RotoGrinders have a situation room, impact ratings and analysis. If you're a premium member here, you would get this. And you could see the Q tags and what happens, right? Yabusele should continue to start at center if Embiid is out. Okay, that's normal, right? Adams and Eason will handle center for Houston if Sengun is out. And Miles Turner Bryant likely starts at center. Usage bump for Halliburton and Siakam. So just gives you a little insight on what to look for, right? If this guy is out, what guys should we be really looking at? Now, as of right now on SimLabs, we still have the questionable players in. So that's how we always do it. If a guy's doubtful, we've already projected him out here at RotoGrinders. If a guy's questionable, we project him in until proven otherwise. Okay, so all the SimLabs data that we see here, all the contest simulations and the player simulations and everything are all based on Turner being in, Embiid being in, Sengun being in, all the questionable players being in. So you should more likely, especially for NBA, more likely to be looking through this research-wise and building some lineups closer to lock, right? I kind of do this here in the morning just to kind of show you the process, show you a little of how you should think in order to build competitive lineups in SimLabs. One of the things that I first look at primarily is optimal versus projected ownership. What players are over and under owned, right? Especially the over owned guys, right? Because a lot of people like, do you play the chalk? Do you not play the chalk? Well, it could be either or, right? Let SimLabs do that work for you, right? Because it says here that Terry Rozier, it was 4,600 or whatever, he's going to be over-owned compared to his optimal rate. And he may have a high optimal rate. So it doesn't mean you can't play him, but you probably shouldn't be playing multiple over-owned players in the same lineup. So you go position by position. You can see here, Denny Advija, I can never pronounce his name right. Avdija, over-owned. Patrick Williams. I mean, I would guess the power forward position isn't all that strong today from a projection standpoint. So a couple of these guys are a little over-owned. Center position, Daniel Gafford, Khalil Ware, Towns, Porzingis. He had a lot of over-owned center plays versus, a bunch of under-owned guys here. Small forward and shooting guard are typically about the same. Cam Whitmore a little bit. So this can give you a little insight on what guys to fade. It doesn't mean you have to fade all of them. And also what guys have a much higher optimal rate than what their ownership is. But one thing that I like to do in the beginning is if I'm playing large, let's say I'm playing large field contest, right? And I just want to see, I'll just run 150 lineups. Not because I'm going to play 150 lineups, just to see what the highest SimLab rated lineups for the contest that I'm playing and for the settings that I have, what players are in them, right? Because there's a difference between, okay, well, Terry Rozier may be, over-owned, but if he just happens to show up in like 95% of lineups that I see here, maybe I'd still decide to play him, right? It's more about how to play players together and build lineups. I always say lineups, not players. Than like who to play. what does the lineup construction look like? So here we go with 150 lineups. You see them; they're all spit out. You see all these ratings here, right? You can look down here. These are all any one of them. You could just play any one of these lineups, and that you'd be fine. But I'm going to go into exposures just to see how much of these players. So like Terry Rozier, 31%, Khalil Ware, 32%, Adebayo, Ayton, getting 44% Ayton, and I think he's one of the under-owned players, right? But I'm primarily looking for those over-owned guys, right? I'm looking for like how much Towns do I have here? Like I don't like 15%. It's like not as many lineups as you would think. Like who else was on that list? We have at Denny 17%. Like I don't know if any of these guys are necessary. Like it seems like Bam, like Rozier, out of anyone, actually Rozier may be the most likely that you would have to play. Not necessarily have to play, but be more likely to play. But I don't feel like the need to you have to play Karl Anthony Towns today for GPPs, obviously. I don't think. I mean, we take a look at lineup HQ, and we can take a look at what are the higher projected players like Karl Anthony Towns. Okay, Bam is going to be very owned. You got Jalen Brunson, LeBron, obviously LeBron. Okay, Ayton's up there, 25% ownership. Khalil Ware, 23% ownership. Okay, so these guys are still going to be pretty owned, right? So I look through and I go, okay, maybe I don't need to play Towns. But I'm going to use, let's say you wanted to play, I'm going to use SimLabs. So this is what I mean by this is not going to tell you who to play. This is just going to tell you what the lineups look like from players that you would want to play. So you take a look at this lineup and you go, D'Angelo Russell, Zaire Williams, Cam Whitmore, Adebayo, Ayton, Rozier, DeSunmo, LeBron James. It's the highest rated lineup in this run. Like it's the combination of all these. This doesn't mean you can't play Karl Anthony Towns because I can click here. I can go where are the Towns lineups here? There you go. I can click on Towns, right? It'll show me just the Karl Anthony Towns. You see the search bar here. It's like, well, I can play this lineup, Karl Anthony Towns lineup, but it doesn't have LeBron in it. It has 3 Nets players in it. It has Duncan Robinson in it. It has, this one has Justin Edwards in it and Darius Garland. Here's one with Rozier. So you can play Towns, Rozier, and Bam, and DeAndre Ayton, but you need to play like Darius Garland at the point guard spot to make it worthwhile to play. And you see here, from a projection standpoint, ownership standpoint, upside standpoint, in the money standpoint, like this is what your lineup should look like. So you could use SimLabs just as a research tool, right? Do you want to play Ochai Agbale, whatever his name is? You don't want to play him, you don't have to. Right? If you want to play Karl Anthony Towns tonight, you can play Karl Anthony Towns, but make a good Karl Anthony Towns lineup. You could do that in SimLabs. If you don't want to play him, then don't look for Karl Anthony Towns lineups. Right? So this is what I typically do. I go here, right? Let's say I'm going to play a smaller field contest, 1,000, 2,000 entries, typically in mid stakes, $44, $27, something like that. Right. And I don't think I need to play Karl Anthony Towns tonight. So I'm gonna exclude Karl Anthony Towns. I'm gonna just look at those lineups. And do I even need to play Rozier? Let's take a look at the lineups that don't have Towns or Rozier. So I'm just gonna put in 20 just for time's sake. It's what do they look like? What the hell do they look like? So let's see. Let me get lineups. 20 lineups. And if you see that they spit out and the ratings are really low, typically, and you put in I'm going to lock this guy in, I'm going to exclude that guy, and they come out with garbage, everything is red. It's SimLabs is telling you not to do it, right? It's whatever combination you thought of, probably not many, if any, profitable lineups that have that combination. But let's see. I excluded Towns, I excluded Rozier, right? I still get Denny, right? I still get Khalil Ware, right? I get Ayton in there. Grady Dick, right? These seem like a little bit more large field lineups to play all these guys. Kawhi Leonard's in here. You got Eamon Thompson's now 8,500. Well, because he scored a lot of fantasy points. So yeah, I get it. So do you play Bam and Ware together? Maybe you choose one of them. Right? You still got Jovic. You're playing everyone. You're playing the entire Heat front court. I mean, I guess you can. You have Dalton necked in there for the Lakers. So you take a look at these lineups and you go, these are the lineups that have like Towns, no Rozier. And if you don't like them, you look through and you go, well, I don't want to do that. Well, I don't want to do this. Well, I don't want to do that. Well, SimLabs is telling you what to do. This is what you should be doing. If you don't feel comfortable playing, Jamie Jacquez and Miles McBride or something in your lineup with Jared Allen at center, you go, yeah, I don't want to do this. Then don't play Towns and then you have to play one of Towns and Rozier. Right? This is telling you what the lineups look like that are profitable that don't have these players in it. Or you could do the opposite. You could say, okay, you know what I want to do? I want to make sure I'm going to play DeAndre Ayton. Right? I'm going to play DeAndre Ayton. And you take a look at let's see who else is up here. Let's say you wanted to play Jalen Brunson today. Just say he projects well. You go, I definitely want to play Jalen Brunson for whatever reason. Then just go in and type in, okay, let's take a look at the lineups that have Ayton and Brunson in it for a small field for a small field contest, and see what the highest rated lineups in SimLabs as of 11 a.m. obviously. So you see here, and you go, okay, 93, 92. There's some pretty good rated lineups, right? Brunson, Holiday, Williams, Adebayo, Vucevic, Rozier, Hachimura, Ayton. This one has Khalil Ware, right, and Kawhi Leonard in it, right? This one has Rozier. They both have Rozier in it, right? You look through and just look through and go, which ones do you like, right? If you only have one line, let's say you're playing one lineup today. Just go through and go, okay, well, Jason Tatum is going to be under-owned. Oh, he's going to be 6% owned. Maybe I play him. And a whole bunch of the Heat. Jalen Brunson, Kobe White, Jason Tatum, Hayward, Highsmith, Adebayo, Rozier, Vanderbilt at 2.4% ownership. I don't know about that. DeAndre Ayton. If you're not comfortable with this, then move on. Look at some of the lineups and choose one. And if you take a look and you constantly see, it's like, this one banned. I don't want to play Bam, right? Or maybe you want to play, you have Ayton in your lineup. Maybe you want to play Towns. So you're like, okay, I don't want to play Bam. Let's say just for whatever reason. So you put in and you go, okay, I want to look at the lineups that have Ayton and Brunson, but no Bam. Get lineups. Look how quick this is. There, done. There you go. 92.94, 91.96, 89, 86, 84, 84. I mean, these are all fine. There you go. Maybe you don't want to play Denny. It's like, okay, I don't want to play the $6,900 Denny. Okay, you put that in. I mean, choose whatever you want. What do the lineups look like that have this configuration? Are there any? Are there many? I see here. It's like, okay, here you go. Brunson, Rozier, Highsmith, Josh Hart, Khalil Ware, Tyler Hero, Hachimura, DeAndre Ayton. Done. Rated extremely well, right? If you look at this lineup and you go, I mean, and truthfully, you look at the projected ownership, no one is like single-digit owned, right? You got a 33% owned Terry Rozier. You got 23% Ware. You got 25% Ayton, 25% Brunson, and a bunch of like double-digit Hart. And this is a perfectly fine. You don't have to be absurdly contrarian. This isn't like this. This is contrarian, but not to the point of stupidity. But you could always, here, this lineup has Jacoby Walker in it, Walter, or whatever, at like nothing owned. Like, you don't have to play this lineup. I mean, you can, but I mean, it relies on the fact that all these guys score a lot of points, and Walter at least gives you like 12 or something like that. Right, here's one with Miles McBride, which we show is like the under-owned player. Like the most under-owned player is Miles McBride. So maybe you want to take a look at that. Maybe so you go, okay, I want to take a look at lineups that have Miles McBride but no Terry Rozier, or lineups that have Karl Anthony Towns and no Miles McBride. Like that's all you could do here in SimLabs. So this is the new way of making lineups, because SimLabs does something that Lineup HQ doesn't. I talk about it all the time in my Theory of DFS course, theoryofdfs.com. That building lineups is really the levers. The 3 levers of DFS: projection, correlation, and leverage. And a good GPP lineup has the proper mix of all three for the contest size that you're in. So for a large field, obviously, you don't mind giving up more projection so you get more leverage, right? Lower ownership. In a smaller field contest, you don't need to give up that much leverage. You don't need to have as much correlation. You don't need to have any of it. You don't have the game stack in NBA, even though correlation in NBA is not that strong. But like, I'm just going to play like 7 guys from one game and hope it goes to overtime. Like, you really don't need to do that in NBA. But it increases the variance of your lineup. And in a large field contest, I could understand doing that. Now, lineup HQ, you have to like put in this. It doesn't know anything. It's just you have to come up with all those concepts together and then programming in so it could build 150 of them. SimLabs, it's simulating the contests. It's taking lineups that it thinks it's going to be in contest and just simulating it out 10,000, 50,000 times and going, these are the lineups that rate out the best in all of those simulations, right? Now, some of them win first more often or come in last. Some cash more often. So, like, the outcome distributions may be a little bit different. And that's why we show, like, top 100 versus in the money. And you will find lineups in here that, have a great top 100 percentage, but their in the money rate is not that hot, which means it may come in really high or really low, but don't expect it to just like, oh, I didn't cash this lineup. It's like, yeah, the lineup came in like in almost last place. Like that's its outcome range. And there are some lineups where, this lineup like never comes in the top 100, but it cashes like twice as often as any other lineup. So if you play that type of lineup, don't be surprised when you never win with those types of lineups. You just do 2x or 3x your money. So you can see that here in SimLabs as well. But to me, this is the best way to just show. You could show up at half an hour before lock, use our projections and our simulations, and just come up with competitive lineups. So it even syncs to Lineup HQ. You could download them in a CSV just like you can. You could save lineups from different builds, right? You could just say, I want to play 3 lineups tonight. I want to play a lineup that has Karl-Anthony Towns, one that doesn't have Karl-Anthony Towns, one that doesn't have Terry Rozier, and just do 20, 50, whatever amount, and then choose one that you like, and then save it. Choose another one you like and save it. Choose another line, and then you get 3 lineups, and there you go. You're done. You're done. There you go. So you can get SimLabs here at RotoGrinders as part of the Combo Light package, which means you get SimLabs and all of our premium written content for the 4 major sports that we have SimLabs for, which is NFL, which is, well, you got it for Showdown, right? For the Super Bowl Showdown. We got it for NBA, obviously. MLB, which will be back in the beginning of April, late March, whatever. And PGA, which is obviously got PGA almost all year round. So click on that link in the description. And I think $39.95, you get Combo Light. You get SimLabs for all the 4 major sports and all of our premium written content. It is the most affordable package, especially when it comes to simulation content in the industry. But hit that thumbs up button on your way out the door, right? This is, my little. I mean, like truthfully, it's the NBA. It's 11 o'clock in the morning. In 4 hours, like half the people that are in these lineups, who knows whether they're going to be out at the strip club somewhere. They're going to be on the injury report, or who knows. We don't know. But this is the thing that you would do, right? At like a half an hour before lock, right? Maybe they'll be surprised. 7 games and all of the news remains the same. Maybe it'll be surprising that way. Who knows? But these are the types of lineups that I would be making tonight for the NBA slate on DraftKings. 7 games. Hit that thumbs up button. Hit the subscribe button if you're new here. Hit the notification bell to know when I go live. I'll be here tomorrow taking a first look at the Super Bowl slate on DraftKings and FanDuel, 1-game slate. Then we'll be doing some Super Bowl props on Thursday. We'll be looking at some weird showdown GPP strategy with Bobby on Friday. And then football will be over, and it'll be pretty much all NBA until MLB starts. So yeah, that's kind of the plan this week. We got the All-Star breaks coming up. I may be on, I may may have different types of videos. So always look out for that on the YouTube channel. And I will see you. I will see you tomorrow. That's what I do here on weekdays, talking about all things you're thinking about in daily fantasy, props, and pick'em on Roto Grinders.